little while ago, we put a video up talking about why Rodimus Prime failed. And I thought, should we do a follow-up to that? But what character, what specific scenario, what situation would lend itself to that sort of opinion piece? And it's taken a little while, but I want to talk a little bit about a particular episode called The Dark Awakening. Now, before we start talking about the episode itself, I want to set the scene a little bit for you. This video is entirely my own take on Dark Awakening, and I hope by the end of it you'll get a sense of the reverence that I hold for this particular episode and why it sticks with me when so many other Transformers episodes just fall by the wayside. I was born in '82, so by the time Transformers the movie rolls out, I don't see it at the cinema. Heck, I don't even know if it was really in the UK very much. I get to see Transformers the movie on VHS when it comes out. Buy it from Asda supermarket, take it home, watch it that night. At the end of that movie, when Victor Caroli famously says, "And the greatest Autobot of them all, Optimus Prime, will return," I distinctly remember not allowing my parents to turn the video off because the narrator said Optimus Prime is coming back. I was too young to understand that Optimus Prime was coming back on a different video which you would have to purchase separately. Several years later, I would finally get my hands on The Return of Optimus Prime, and everything would be right with the world. However, the death of Optimus Prime was an interesting development for me and my growth as a person on this planet, because up until that point, the notion that people would die didn't factor in. I was probably about a year away before I had to deal with the passing of a family member. And prior to that, the concept didn't exist. It was Transformers that introduced the concept of death. Not just death, but death of a character that I adored. Optimus Prime. And within that period of time, between watching Transformers the movie and getting my hands on The Return of Optimus Prime, there was another video that I found, and that was Dark Awakening. Growing up, there were three things that I distinctly remember terrifying me when it came to fiction. One was the library scene at the beginning of Ghostbusters. Get her? You know all about it. The second one, and perhaps the one that still is the most terrifying of the three, is the cyborg transformation scene in Superman 3. I still maintain it's horrifying. It's the scream. And the third one is the reveal of Optimus Prime in Dark Awakening. I watched that episode as a kid, and I think it set me on a path to disliking horror as a genre. I don't like to be scared. It's not a particular type of entertainment that I find compelling. I have a deal with my wife that I will only ever watch one horror movie a year with her. She's a big horror fan, but I'll only watch one horror movie with her a year at Halloween. That's the deal. Now, I can get away with most horror, to be honest. Like, it's not that impactful. And I do have a fondness for horror video games, but outside of deliberately going to see something to scare myself, Nah. And I think partially it's to do with Dark Awakening. This episode holds certain distinctions within the Generation 1 cartoon canon. It has probably got the highest body count of any Transformers cartoon episode. Heck, it's probably got a higher body count than Transformers the movie if you extrapolate the fact that all of these ships that the Quintessons blow up at the end has got people on it. People die in this episode, but it is the fact that they chose to bring Optimus Prime back as a zombie, as a mind-controlled zombie whose entire reason for being is to lead his friends to their death. That is the general concept that this episode is running with. The Quintessons have stolen Optimus Prime's corpse. Already, we're off to a bad start. And they have brought him back to life, quote unquote. He's not alive. He's not really alive. He's a puppet. A Frankenstein's monster designed to get all of his friends to fly between two planets that the Quintessons have set up as a decoy to blow up and kill the Autobots. That way, Cybertron is free for the Quintessons to reclaim the planet that they founded.
And some lingering remnants of his memory and personality.
But without our circuit implants, he would be utterly mindless, an ordinary machine.
A robotic zombie.
This episode was written and produced while Transformers the movie is coming out. Now, in my Rodimus video, I talked about why I thought the reason that Rodimus didn't work was because they had to pivot so hard in relation to the death of Optimus Prime and bring Prime back as quickly as possible that the Rodimus story never pays off. This episode is kind of one of the most important episodes on that road of Rodimus's journey.
All right, Hot Rod is back. Let's party!
As soon as Optimus Prime is shown and alive, Rodimus instantly gives him the Matrix back. Rodimus wants rid of the Matrix. And it's this episode where his naivety and his desperation to go back to being the carefree Hot Rod causes untold horrors on the Autobots. I mentioned earlier about the amount of people, Transformer characters, characters who you wouldn't be able to name unless, of course, you're talking about the aerial bots, but they show up later and they're fine. But there are an awful lot of characters that are insinuated to have died as a result of Rodimus just giving the Matrix away to Optimus Prime. Now, perhaps that's a bit harsh because Prime would have gone ahead with this plan even without the Matrix, but it is Rodimus giving him the Matrix that ultimately saves the day. So we still don't know what the Matrix is. We do know, however, from Five Faces of Darkness that it contains the prior primes and leaders of the Transformers, including Optimus Prime. The fact that we get to see that, and the fact that Optimus Prime then takes the Matrix into himself, and it is at that point that the Matrix reacts to Optimus Prime and clearly puts this zombified version of Optimus Prime under duress, is brilliant storytelling. The zombie is being brought back to life by the Matrix, to the point where at the end of the episode, after Optimus Prime defeats the programming of the Quintessons and is back, he takes the Matrix out and he gives it back to Rodimus. And he goes off for one last hurrah to save the Autobots. And the only way to do that is to detonate the trap that the Quintessons have set. And he sets it off himself.
Until all are one. Monsters. They made me a weapon to destroy the very ones I loved in life. But you will save them. Rodimus Prime.
Now again, remember, this episode is being written before the return of Optimus Prime is confirmed. Heck, this episode is written without the return of Optimus Prime even being the season finale. Because they weren't going to bring Prime back. They were going to kill him off, bring him back, and kill him again. But the fact that we've had the pivot, and the fact that they do bring Optimus Prime back, lends this episode so much more weight. Prime is back. He is restored to life, and he attempts to spend what life he has left saving the remainder of the Autobots, because he has wrought untold disaster. It gives us a look into the Matrix and what is possible with it. It shows us the character of Optimus Prime. It has genuinely some of the most terrifying imagery that you will ever see, like a one-eyed Optimus Prime with one arm piloting a ship into a supernova. That's metal. It's an incredible episode. Added to all of this, however, is this sort of air of mystery to it as well. The writer of this episode, Antony Zaleski, he uses a few different pseudonyms. No idea. Wrote 2 episodes of Transformers, wrote some G.I. Joe, wrote some He-Man, wrote a bunch of stuff. Can't find hide nor hair of him anywhere. An alias, perhaps? Who knows? I would love to pick his brains in regards to this episode. How it came about, why you decided to do it. All of these things are fascinating, and it adds this weird mystery to the episode. And is that not what good horror is all about? Good horror doesn't need an explanation. The history of this episode and how he wrote it, how he came to write this one episode of season 3, which is such a pivotal episode. And it is now, but at the time, was it? Who knows? I love Dark Awakening. It is one of my all-time favourite episodes. I would be fascinated to hear what you think of the episode. Did you watch it as a kid? Did it have the same impact to you as it did to me? Did you watch Dark Awakening many years later? Does it still hold the same reverence for you? Are you new to Transformers? Have you ever seen Dark Awakening? And if not, go watch it and let me know what you think. This episode, I just wanted to talk about something that I love. It's not the best animation, but what it brings to the table is worth more than any polished artwork ever could. That might be a bit of a lie, but in the meantime, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you all next time. Bye for now.